looked up at the other students in the room, a crew of eager young finance cadets who had been sent to a 5-day boot camp, run by a company called Training the Street, to learn elementary accounting, basic financial analysis, and other skills they'd need to do their new jobs on Wall Street. Most of them were in their early 20s, the ink still drying on their college diplomas. Some were lifelong bankers in training. Others were liberal arts majors who didn't know bonds from bananas. And, in a matter of days, all of them would be let loose on the markets. Armed with Bloomberg terminals and can-do attitudes, they'd get to work selling stocks, building models for billion-dollar mergers, and giving business advice to corporate executives old enough to be their parents. They were just entry-level analysts, the lowest of the low in Wall Street's pecking order, but the fact that they had managed to get hired by some of the world's most powerful investment firms meant that they were on the rise. Soon, they would officially become card-carrying financiers, and they would be invited to take part in a giant globe-spanning money-making operation that controls the fates of companies, governments, and millions of ordinary people around the world. I, too, was a 20-something living in New York, but that was about where the similarities with my fellow Excel grunts ended. I studied English in college, took a grand total of 0 business or economics courses, and paid no mind to the corporate recruiting circus that came to campus every year. Neither my upbringing in small-town Ohio nor my schooling had helped me understand or sympathize with what went on inside Wall Street banks. And, during the economic collapse of 2008, every story I read about the financial sector's implosion seemed to be describing a cartoonish fictional universe, one that seemed as distant from my everyday life as reading about Scientology or the mob. But when I moved to New York after college in 2010, I started getting curious. The economy was still in shambles, and the world's anger toward Wall Street banks was still burning blue hot. Politicians and pundits fulminated on the greed of bailed-out bankers, and many called for them to be prosecuted and jailed. HBO talk show host Bill Maher quipped about executing Wall Street higher-ups. One online clothing vendor sold "I Hate Investment Banking" t-shirts for $18.99 apiece, and a new arcade game called Whack-A-Banker was introduced in the United Kingdom, in which players used mallets to take their aggression out on pinstriped financiers. The game became so popular in its first location, the BBC reported, that the worn-out mallets had to be replaced. Watching Wall Street incur the world's wrath, I often found myself wondering how the financial crisis was affecting young bankers and traders, the people my age who started their jobs in 2009 and 2010. They had nothing to do with the crash, of course. They had been in college while banks like Bear Stearns were loading up their books with mortgage-backed securities and increasing their leverage to dangerous levels. Still, as a result of the work they'd chosen, they were experiencing the financial industry's pariah status right along with their elders. Being young on Wall Street has always been a bizarre combination of glamour and masochism. On one hand, you're a budding master of the universe, an apprentice at the feet of some of the world's most talented moneymakers. You earn significantly more than your peers in other industries, get to witness billion-dollar deals unfold, and have a prestigious launching pad for the rest of your career. On the other hand, the work itself is often repetitive and boring, and the long hours and hellish lifestyle associated with the job can wear down even the brightest and most ambitious recruits. After the crisis, Wall Street recruits also had to cope with their industry's new stigmatization. Many of the young people who came to Wall Street expecting champagne and caviar got dirty looks and ignominy instead. I first realized how far the financial sector had fallen during a dinner party held at the home of a friend's parents in Manhattan shortly after my graduation. During dinner, an acquaintance mentioned that she'd just gotten a job in finance. "Where?" a parent asked. "Downtown," the acquaintance replied. "At a bank?" the parent prodded. "Yeah," she said. "Which one?" The young woman blushed, cast her eyes downward, and sheepishly croaked out, "Goldman Sachs?" The topic of conversation changed quickly, and for the rest of the night she looked ill, as if she'd spilled wine on the host or hip-checked a family heirloom. If one bank recruit felt this way, there were doubtless others. For years, thousands of graduates of the world's most prestigious colleges and universities have gone to Wall Street.